G'day, we'll start with a look at the calendar and then we'll just take a look at the week ahead, including today's price action. Let's get it. G'day guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Jibby Trades here. Thank you for joining me today. Be sure to smash the like button. Guys, we do have a good following, and we do get consistent views, and those views could be so much higher if everyone that watched every day also gave the video a like, because that will help the video push far and wide and the channel push far and wide. So please give the button a smash. It doesn't take much. It takes 1 second, if that, to hit the like button, and it would mean the world to me if you could hit the like button and help spread the word. Thank you for that, guys. Let's see if we can get an all-time high today on likes for our daily videos. That would be amazing. Okay, we finally have the government open, which means we will have high impact news this week. Starting off Monday, no news. Tuesday, no news. Followed by Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, all with high impact news. So be prepared for that. Looking forward to seeing that playing out as well this week. And keep an eye on the calendar, because we could see updates to it. You can see the unemployment claims here are still tentative. So there's a chance that the unemployment claims might not go ahead. So keep it update. Maybe they'll change some things, as we get back into the swing of the government being open. So be sure to check out the calendar. I will update daily as always. Moving to the daily time frame here for NQ. And what we'll see here is right now we've swept previous day high and we've pushed up into this bearish FEG here on the daily. Now, generally speaking, the previous candle here from Friday, a lot of bullish momentum in there, and a pin bar closure back inside the range of the previous candle. I ideally would have liked to have seen price open and push lower, respecting the wick, the 50% or the EQ of the wick, before moving higher and taking previous day high. That hasn't happened. So we're gonna have to be patient here and see how price plays out. And for me, the best way to sort of identify what might happen is I'll just duck down to the 4 hour, and I'll want to see, on the 4 hour, we're looking still bullish in my opinion. Although we have this candle closure, this pin bar here back inside the range, we have had a nice move off this bullish order block, which gives us our change in the state of delivery. It was out of a bullish FEG here as well, so it's very clean. We had this strong move at open today. That's the midnight open. Sorry, that's the 6 p.m. open rather. But since then, we've sort of just dicked around a little bit. We had a bit of a push on the 2 a.m. candle here, but otherwise not a lot has sort of happened from here. So keep an eye on this candle closure. Potentially could mean we moved lower. If we were going to move lower, then I'd want to see price just respect the CSD here and then push higher from there. Moving over to the weekly. And from a weekly perspective, we swept out previous week low and then we closed back inside the range. An indecisive candle, almost the same size wick, high and low, but we did close back inside the range, and we have respected this down close candle here. We've been unable to close through the open of that candle, so looking like we might continue to move higher potentially here. If we do that, I want to see price respect the EQ of that weekly wick. Vice versa, we could respect the high side EQ and then continue lower. It's going to jump down to the 3 minute, and I just want to have a look at a trade that played out during London, but I did not execute, and there's a couple of reasons for that. I was looking for this to happen. So something like this. I had this marked out on the chart. However, I was busy in between, you know, dinner time and things like that. So I wasn't able to keep an eye on the chart. However, if we roll back, replay mode, this was the candle, this 30-minute candle that I was interested in. And for me to execute or get into a position during London, I need that 30-minute candle to close back inside the range of the previous candle. And you can see here we closed above that candle. Okay, so for me, that's a no trade. And although price did play out, I would have sat on my hands even if I was watching the trade, because it invalidated my process just with this candle. But nonetheless, it did play out and continued to move lower all the way down to the Asia lows there. All right, let's move back to the daily. And remember, guys, you can grab your Tradeify evals, code Jimmy Trades, and your Apex evals with code Jimmy. You always get maximum discount. 30% off Tradeify at the moment and 50% off with Apex. So we've got the move lower here, as we talked about last week, but then we've got this SMT that formed at the low here. The NQ swept that previous week's low, whereas ES did not. Nice bullish closure, but similar situation here with ES to NQ, whereby we've come up into this daily bearish FEG. We've swept previous day high, and that could be a signal that we might see price move lower. So keep an eye on that. Again, I look to the 4-hour for some better or granular insight to order flow, and we can see that we've got that 2 a.m. candle closure back inside the range. We want to see this CSD hold, okay? And we could see that as far down as 50% of the bodies here. So price could still come down and do something like this. All right, let's push back to the daily. Take a look at oil. What do we see on oil? We're inside this gap. We've been unable to push through that level. At the moment though, if we have a look here, I'm looking at these up close candles, and we can see that we're pushing off the EQ there. We've been unable to get through that level. So what I want to see for price to move higher, I'd probably wait today out and see what happens. You know, the low hanging fruit is previous day high at the moment, and we have been expanding towards that level. So there is potential for previous day high to be swept. If we close back under the EQ here, or we don't move through the EQ, then I'd be looking for price to move lower. We see that we closed back inside the range here on Thursday last week, bullish off of that. So, you know, we could potentially continue to see that expansion here, but we'll just wait and see how we react to these levels. Heading over to gold. And what do we have with gold? We had Thursday close back inside the range, and we expanded off of that. So there's our insight to order flow. Great example of of what we're looking for on these pin bar candles. When they close back inside the range, we got that expansion off of there. Now we're into a daily bullish FEG. Currently, we haven't been able to close below the EQ. I'd like to see a sweep of previous day low and then potentially a move higher off of that if we get the structural shift. So that's what I'll be looking for. However, we do have these equal lows down here. We could continue to see expansion lower. At the moment, that low here is the low hanging fruit, and that's where I'd anticipate price to head towards today. So Dixie came right down to our level we've had marked out for a little while now, and we got a reaction off that. Would have preferred to see the Friday candle sweep the low out. We haven't done that, and again sweeping previous day high here, but we are getting a nice expansion candle, small wick to the downside, potentially seeing higher prices, and that's what we were looking for off this level. We also have some low resistance liquidity through here, so there is a chance that we might see higher prices. Let's have a look at Euro, inversely correlated. And what are we getting? We're getting that reaction off this level that we were talking about. We weren't able to close through that EQ, so we respected the EQ of these up close candle bodies, and we're moving lower. We've got this low resistance liquidity down here. Anticipate price to push lower today. The pound, fairly indecisive the last few days. You can see that we're still in the range of what's this, Thursday's candle here. Very little price action today from the pound. And you know, with it being correlated to Euro, I'd just look for previous day low here at the moment, potentially, or we may just stay inside this range here as well. Let's jump over here and have a look at Bitcoin. So we did come down to this level. We didn't get this sort of movement. With that said, likely still targeting a region down here somewhere into the high 80s. As much as I don't want that to happen, but you never know. Let's see, with today, we are pushing higher. Previous day high looks good into this bearish FEG, and then we could see price push lower from there. If we run our fibs, look at that. I mean, it just lines up perfect with the previous ones we marked out. Crazy, just almost identical. I mean, the negative 2.5 spot on. So there's a chance that we're going to end up down here, in my opinion, and then hopefully we'll get a solid reversal from there. Same deal here with Ethereum. Previous day high into this bearish FEG is where I'd be looking. See if we get a reaction out of that and then push lower from there. All right, guys, thanks again for tuning in, and please smash that like button. Use code JimmyTrades for your Tradeify evals, code Jimmy for your Apex evals, and we'll see you over in Trade Foundry. Bye for now.